Hi, Creekside kids. I hope you have enjoyed reading the Jesus Storybook Bible with me each week. Last week, our story was about Jesus calling 12 regular everyday people to join him in his rescue plan. I always wonder what it must have been like for them to be sitting there fishing or doing whatever it was they were doing, because we got to hear about the fishermen, but there were 12 people and they all did slightly different things. And each one of them was invited by Jesus to leave their jobs and join him in his rescue plan, in his call to people to come back to God. And I always wonder, what did they know about him? What had they learned about him? How well did they know him? And I wonder the same thing about you. How well do you know Jesus? What have you heard about him? What have you learned? And one thing I hope you have learned is that all these years later, Jesus is still inviting regular, everyday people like me and you to join him in calling people back to God and letting them know how much he loves them. In fact, this first song that we're going to sing reminds us that you don't have to be the fastest or the strongest or really special in any way to love God, to trust him, to follow him, and encourage others to do the same. I hope you enjoy this song. Let's sing.
You can trust God. You can take him at his word and give him your heart. You can trust God. It doesn't matter who you are. You can trust God. You don't have to be the fastest, strongest. You don't have to hold your breath the longest. You don't have to be a star. It doesn't matter who you are. Raise your hands and repeat after me. You can trust God, definitely. You can trust God, definitely. You can trust God. You can take him at his word and give him your heart. You can trust God. It doesn't matter who you are. You can trust God. You don't have to be the fastest, strongest. You don't have to hold your breath the longest. You don't have to be a star. It doesn't matter who you are. Raise your hands and repeat after me. You can trust God, definitely. You can trust God, definitely. You can trust God. You can take him at his word and give him your heart. You can trust God. It doesn't matter who you are. You can trust God. You can trust God. You can take him at his word and give him your heart. You can trust God. It doesn't matter who you are. You can trust God. You can trust God. Yeah, you can trust God.
I hope you know how much I miss singing these songs with you and you and you. And I also think it's so fun that no matter how many times we sing the same song, we can notice something different about it. This week, as we're reading from the Bible, I noticed that part that says, you can take him at his word. Have you ever thought about what that really means? How would you say that to somebody? You can take me at my word. I think it means that we can believe what someone is telling us. And in our story today, we are going to meet some people who believed Jesus for some unbelievable things. Let's read. A little girl and a poor, frail lady. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning, or the next, or the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her. One day, he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, wishing there was something he could. I know, he said. He jumped to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, ran down the steps, past the servants, out of the house, through the gates, along the road, into the town, up the steps, and into the temple. He fought his way through all the people until at last he found who he was looking for. "Jesus," he said, falling at Jesus' feet. "My daughter," he pleaded. "Please." But he didn't need to beg, because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand and helped him up. "I'll come at once," Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus was coming. It would be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulances, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way, hustling and bustling, jostling and pressuring, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? "Who touched me?" Jesus asked, because he felt power go out of him. "Me," said a frail lady, looking down at the ground because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if she only touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she had touched his coat, and instantly she was well. "We don't have time," Jesus' friends said. But Jesus always had time. He reached out his hands and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You believed," he said, wiping a tear from her eye, "and now you are well." Just then, Jairus' servant rushed up to Jairus. "It's too late," he said breathlessly. "Your daughter is dead." Jesus turned to Jairus. "It is not too late," Jesus said. "Trust me." At Jairus' house, everyone was crying, but Jesus said, "I'm going to wake her up." Everyone laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner, in the shadows, was the still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. "Honey," he said, "it's time to get up." And he reached down into death and gently brought the little girl back to life. The little girl woke up, rubbed her eyes as if she just had a good night's sleep, and leapt out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters and sunlight flooded the dark room. "Hungry?" Jesus asked. She nodded. Jesus called to her family, "Bring this little girl some breakfast." Jesus helped and healed many people like this. He made blind people see. He made deaf people hear. He made lame people walk. Jesus was making the sad things come untrue. He was mending God's broken world. I love that last line. Jesus was mending God's broken world. Mending is another word for fixing or healing. Do you have things that you wish Jesus would fix or heal? I know I do. I wish we didn't have to be so careful about germs. I wish people didn't ever get sick or die. I wish people weren't mean to each other. I wish we could just all live together forever in joy and peace and happiness. But that is not what this world is like, is it? Can you think of a place that is going to be like that? I hope your answer was immediately heaven, because Jesus promises that there we won't have any sadness or sorrow or sickness or pain, and it is going to be amazing. But if there's anything we've learned from today's story is that sometimes you have to wait a long, long, long time for God's promises to come true. Sometimes we wait so long it just feels like it's too late and things can't be fixed. In fact, I don't know about you, but I have prayed and asked Jesus to fix things for me that stayed broken. And I'm still waiting for him to fix things that hurt my heart or make me sad. And when I ask God, why don't you fix things faster? Why don't you just fix everything right like that? Because we know he can. He reminds me that he never promised he was going to fix everything on this earth. In fact, Jesus told his friends, in this world, you're going to have trouble, but cheer up because I have overcome this world. It isn't easy to cheer up when things are difficult. And God doesn't want us to just go around acting like we're happy. And he doesn't want us to just quit praying about the things that we need. He wants us to bring our cares to him. He wants us to ask him for help. And he also wants us to meet together regularly so that we can encourage each other and so that we can pray for each other and so that we can sing songs that remind us that someday earthly pain will cease and we'll have unending joy, and that we're going to even meet Jesus face to face, just like the people in the stories we're reading. Oh, what a happy day that will be. Let's sing about it now.
Oh, happy day, you wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. The greatest day in history, death has beaten, you have rescued me. Sing it out, Jesus is alive. The empty cross, the empty grave, life eternal, you have won the day. Shout it out, Jesus is alive. He's alive. Oh, happy day, when you wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. Forever I am changed. When I stand in that place, free at last, meeting face to face, I am yours, Jesus, you are mine. Endless joy and perfect peace, earthly pain finally will cease. Celebrate, Jesus is alive. He's alive. Oh, happy day, when you wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. Forever I am changed. And oh, what a glorious day, what a glorious way, my Lord, that you have saved me. And oh, what a glorious day, what a glorious name, Jesus. Oh, happy day, you wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. Oh, happy day, when you wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. No, forever I am changed. Forever I am changed.
forever. Now that is a very happy thought. Jesus hasn't just promised to fix God's broken world. Jesus has promised to fix our broken hearts, to change our selfishness into love, to change our fear into peace, to change our anger into kindness. These are the things that God is going to do for us, and all we have to do is believe in the unbelievable. Let's celebrate that as we sing this next song. See you next week.
Unbelievable.